My friend Brian tells me that the bank has a really good lobby. Is this true? Your friend is correct. The big money center banks have a very good lobby. This is why the bank loan officers are not subject to the NMLS licensing. I'm confused. Why would the entrance to the bank determine the licensing status of the loan officers inside the banks? I'm referring to the bank lobbyist, you idiot, not the lobby of a bank. I don't understand. Why do the big banks not want loan officer licensing? The large banks operate centralized call centers which handle current customer refinances as well as other call-in business generated by their vast network of branches throughout the country. If these loan officers had to be licensed in each state they originate home loans, it would be very cumbersome. So the loan officers of the big banks would have to take the class, take the test, submit the fingerprints, authorize the credit report, and pay the fees just like every other loan officer. Yes, in every state they wish to originate home loans. I get it now. The big banks want to originate home loans without the hassle of the NMLS licensing in each individual state, correct? Again, just when I'm ready to write you off as brain dead you show signs of life. So the big banks enjoy a loophole which the small independent mortgage operators cannot take advantage of? You are correct. Are there other provisions which the big banks enjoy? It is safe to say that the big banks did not oppose the Frank-Dodd legislation which restricts loan officer compensation. You mean the federal government restricts how a loan officer can be compensated? Somehow that seems un-American. Beginning April 1st of 2011, loan officer compensation will be regulated by the Frank-Dodd Financial Reform Act as well as the Federal Reserve Reg Z ruling. You mean April Fool's Day? It must be some kind of a joke, correct? I wish it were a joke. Unfortunately, the federal government believes that it has the right to infringe on existing compensation agreements. Why would the U.S. government do such a thing? The subprime mortgage crisis gave the federal government the ability to blame the financial meltdown on the small independent mortgage broker. Was not the independent mortgage originator the perpetrator of the vast majority of our financial problems? You are incorrect. Did not the independent loan officer originate the pay option arm, the interest-only mortgage, the Nina, the Sissa, and the Santa Maria? The Santa Maria was a ship which sailed in 1492, not an example of a toxic mortgage product, you fool. My bad. Yes, the small independent loan officer did originate a large number of the so-called toxic mortgage loans which led to the financial crisis. These exotic loan offerings were developed and distributed by big banking wholesale operations such as WaMu, Wachovia and Countrywide Home Loans. So why not simply restrict the banks which were guilty of the financial catastrophe? These institutions no longer exist. They were closed and merged into larger financial institutions which went on to receive historic financial assistance from the federal government. Did not the small independent mortgage originator receive financial assistance? No, all the small independent mortgage originator experienced was added regulation and bureaucracy caused by increased government interference in the form of the HVCC, the SAFE Act, the Frank-Dodd Financial Reform legislation and the Federal Reserve Reg Z ruling. So why should anyone care if the big banks have created a favorable environment in which to operate? Due to the high concentration of business controlled by just a handful of these large institutions, it will ultimately lead to reduced competition and fewer options for the consumer. This is very disturbing. I do not think most people outside of the mortgage industry have any knowledge of this activity. Is there anything we can do? First and foremost, please let as many people as you can know about our discussions here by the Pink Tree. Spread the word on the social networks like the Facebook. We need to raise awareness. I promise we will meet again in the near future to discuss some more.